Alright, we should be live. Microphone looks good. Window capture's working. Alright, we're back. It's Indoraptor time again. Here it is in all of its glory. And we ended on Mirrored and Besieged last time, which brings us to Modern Horizons, if, Gather decides it wants to work. I just set this up like 15 seconds ago. Usually I have to leave this open for like 10 or 15 minutes before it's like, no, I've decided instead I'm going to remove all of your filters and reload the page instead of searching. But being extra bratty today, so. Library for a mountain card, and when it leaves the battlefield, sacrifice a mountain. Nope. Axe. No. Huh. I think I forgot the axe gave all creature types too. I don't think I wanted that for the Grim Captain, but I was running the Stalactite and Psychic Papers at various points. I guess this is just the worst of the three, and I didn't run all three of them either, so. We're not running the Snowlands for Astrolabe. Each opponent gains 10 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a verse counter on it, then it deals damage equal to the number of verse counters on it to target player or planeswalker. Each opponent gains 10 life. So we can't even be friends with somebody, just like give them the 10 life. And we need to build up enough verse counters from casting instants and sorceries to get to the point where we cast like one cheap one and get an extra hit in. Yeah, no. This is all way too much work for way too little payoff. Ayula, no. Ayula's influence, no. Smoke Shaper, target creature you control gains indestructible. Probably not. Barrenmoor, Bellowing Elk. No. Sliver. Dragonheart. Therapist. Cave of Temptation, which is not a cave despite it having identical functionality outside of that to the one cave from Ixalan. uh, no collector oof, because I do plan on using treasure to help me cast spells when I'm trying to get a giant Indoraptor into play, so that's not really going to help. Crashing Footfalls, no. Don't need Cordial Vampire. Deep Forest Hermit. No. Menace, Death Touch, Undying, and no. Okay. Excavating Anurid. Farmstead Gleaner. Feaster of Fools, no. Sphere Gargantua, no. Do I want Force of Vigor? Definitely don't need Force of Rage. Don't think I need Force of Despair. There are obviously decks where it's very good to have Force of Despair, where they just put a ton of creatures into play with haste in one turn, or have one of the infinite creature combos. Where, like Kiki Jiki with an untapped creature type of thing, where you just need to kill all of them in one turn mid combat so they can't kill you. But for the most part, I don't think we need Force of Despair. I do like Force of Vigor, though. I like anything that destroys multiple artifacts and enchantments for a single card. Because there's always a problematic one, and then there's one that will be problematic later on if you don't deal with it, and then you don't have to choose. Unfortunately, sometimes there's like 3 or 4 of those type of cards, but if you're killing 2 of them, then it's on somebody else to figure out the other 2, especially now that theirs is gone and they need a way to win. We already have Into the Core, but I will consider Force of Vigor. Green instant. I don't need snow cards or the artifact that becomes a dinosaur. Genesis is a reprint. Initial Revelation is snow based. That goat napping. Salted, no. Yeah, I don't think there's any artifact I need in my graveyard for the engineer. Like, there's a few equipment, but I don't know. I'm expecting to make a lot of treasure off of a handful of cards, not have a ton of treasure production. So getting an art, like putting Greaves or something into the graveyard so I can get it back so I can equip Indoraptor, or I think Darksteel Plate meets the requirement as far as giving it indestructible, so. Or as far as the mana cost, so I can give it indestructible, rather. So, there are artifacts that I wouldn't mind tutoring for, but at the same time, I don't know that I'm going to have the artifacts necessary to get those, the ones that I tutored for, back from the graveyard once I've done all this setup, so. 4-party, Grave Shifter, Hexdraker, Hogak. And 2 less if there's a land in my graveyard. Deal 2 damage to target creature. Nope. Lava Dart, no. Lightning Skelemental, no. Sinkhole. Orphon. I may have it deal damage to target creature or planeswalker. Also, I'm not running enough goblins for that anyway. Spirit reprint. Ninja of the New Moon. Guys, it deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. Eh. No. Think I need Mons. Flame-bound Accomplice, no. Prismatic Vista, probably not. 3 damage to target creature. Cowards can't block this turn. Nope. And each opponent loses 2 life. Also, I need. It's just creature cards in my graveyard. I thought it was a zombie for a second that it needed. Don't need Reap the Past. Charge, Regrowth, Rot Widow Pack is loss of life. Ruination Rider. Does you may have it deal damage to any target equal to the number of lands in your graveyard. Another one where I can't guarantee it'll die on the turn I need it to. I have no problem putting, like, fetch lands in my graveyard, as that is always part of my mana base, but without being able to control when this thing dies, Probably not. Yeah, Savage Swipe requires that my creature be 2 power, which Indoraptor is almost never going to be. It needs to be needs to have no counters and have an effect giving it -1 power but not -1 toughness. Otherwise, it would just explode. Shenanigans. Sling Gang is loss of life. Ugh. Vinehorn Minotaur. No. No. Destroy a planeswalker and an artifact. Don't think so. 1/1 counter and proliferate. Also, probably not. Don't need the talismans. Tectonic Reformation. No. Like, it's not terrible, but no. Rose of Chaos, no. Oak Umbro, no. Unbound Flourishing. Haste, Morbid, deal 1 damage to any target. No. Order. No. No. Hey. Renin 6, I don't think. Alright, so that was Modern Horizons 1. Modern Horizons 2. Don't you sass me, Gatherer. Abundant Harvest. Gami Manufacturer. Again, we're not making that much treasure, so. Ooze. Alter. The Arcbound creatures. Hey. Archon is loss of life, so that's not super helpful. I don't need Asmo. Force and Scavenge, no. Put a Batterbone. Plan. Blazing Rootwalla, no. All of these. Break the ice. Rhea's Apprentice. Gives me a 1/1. Tap sack an artifact. Probably not. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Put the reveal cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you reveal a non-land card this way, it deals damage equal to that card's mana value to any target. So I do have some expensive cards, and I would have top to manipulate, but yeah, I don't think I can do any of the um, erratic explosion variants very well. Don't think I need Chainer. Also, don't think I need Chatterfang. Not really making a ton of tokens to begin with. Chef's Kiss, Clattering Auger, can't run Dam. Do I want Dothy Voidwalker? I do like the Voidwalker as a graveyard hate card, but I also like Grave Robber and Scavenging Ooze for that. And they don't have to be in play to catch the cards the way Voidwalker does. They also don't give me the ability to cast one of the cards if I want to later on, so that's a bit of a trade-off, but I think I prefer being able to eat the cards out of the graveyard whenever. What's the Furious side do again? Roll all the way down here. 3 damage to each creature without flying, but not each player. Okay. Also, it's 5 mana. Sanity, but I'm not discarding that much. It is damage instead of life loss, which is helpful, but I don't need Flame Blitz, Flame Rift. Oh, that's Flame Rift. Actual Flame Rift, but we'll grab that when we get to Nemesis. It is a sorcery. That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. Flame Tongue Yearling. The Essence. Flourishing Strike, no. Fodder Tosser. Breaker, Funnel Web Recluse. Any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. So no to Fury then. Exile the top card of your... Oh, right. And then it has Storm. Alright, Gargadon. Guiltblade Prowler. Glimpse of Tomorrow. No. Yeah, I don't think I need the Anarchomancer. It would help a little bit since Indoraptor is going to be discounted by 1, and then the spells I am most likely casting to set up Indoraptor are going to be reduced by 1, so it's not entirely unreasonable. Ultimately, I think I'm not going to run it, but we'll put it on the list just in case. So, Anarchomancer is an Anarchy. Sir. Red green, Goblin Shaman. 2/2. Okay. Trap Runner. Will Shaman. Yeah, we'll just sell it. Reef. Don't need Wrist. Different ability of a shaman or another wizard. No. Bird Baloth, Hunting Pack. I don't think I need Ignoble Hierarch for anything. Like, I'm not ramping with creatures, and I'm probably still attacking with my other creatures anyway, either to get Indoraptor huge or to make blocks more awkward when he's also attacking, so... Alright, so there's the possibility of running, like, Brass Herald to attach equipment to my things, so that way I can instant speed give Indoraptor indestructible, or, like, the, Apex Altasaur if I need it. I think it's Apex Altasaur, the one that fights everything if you want it to, so that way I can give it indestructible while it's fighting off of its comes into play trigger, and it can actually just rumble with everything in play till it wins. But I don't know that I want Cauldra complete just to. Like, I would love to be able to give Indoraptor +5/+5, First Strike and Trample, and Indestructible to go along with its Menace. And Haste is pretty nice too, although I have to believe something else will give it Haste. But 7 mana to equip is just way too much to be reasonable, and I don't think I'm going to have more than, like, at most 2, because I can't even think of the second one that would be in my colors. I know there's a white one that does that. Like Ariak Windwalker or something. But I can't remember if there is another like colorless or red one that would do it. I know there are red creatures that will drag the equipment onto them, but not necessarily put it on the creature I want it on. Vegas, Mind Collapse. New. Necrogoyf. Destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. Don't think so. Shambler. Nettle Cyst. Like, when I do have the ton of treasure in play, it'll be a huge power and toughness boost, but the rest of the time, it's probably only going to be like 2 or 3 for whatever artifact ramp I do run. You know, Soul Ring, probably Mana Crypt. Do we want Ragavan? uh, as long as he can get through against somebody, he's going to make us a treasure, which helps with the get damage through and have the mana to still cast Indoraptor. Plus, you know, he's getting me spells in the meantime if I want to cast them, if there's anything that would be helpful for Indoraptor then. You know, like to set up for him or something. I suppose we can consider Ragavan. Oops. That is red for a monkey pirate. I don't know that we're gonna run him. I can see cutting him for space, but just in case. Don't need Revolutionist. Rift Sower. Ruin deals damage to target creature equal number of lands. You can, so no. Don't need Sanctum Weaver, Scion of Draco, Scurry Oak, no. Gophos Reaver, no. Need the Slag Strider. Proliferate, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So that would give Indoraptor a counter in almost every scenario. So that is another consideration for the fight effects if I decide to run them. Spreading Insurrection, no. Sanctuary, no. Sovereign, no. Don't need Strike It Rich. Sudden Edict. Hearth and Home. No. Not terrible with the Indoraptor. Like, not only does it ramp before I cast him, but if I do enough damage in a turn, blinking him might actually be a good thing. But still very medium. Also, giving him protection from green is bad if I want to use the fight effects to have him punch things. So. Agony, no. Territorial Kavu. Actually need the Underworld Cookbook. Currently need Timeless Witness. There's not a whole lot of cards that I would want to get back. And a lot of the ones I would want to, the biggest thing is that I would get them back and then probably have to wait a turn cycle to cast them and cast Indoraptor in the same turn, because that's usually what I'm trying to set up. Aside from, like, grabbing back a fight card so Indoraptor can fight again in the same turn, or something along those lines, like a utility spell. Korok, or his Canticle. Underworld Hermit, no. Vigilance, Enrage, Proliferate. Biggest problem with this is that Indoraptor is my only real, like, major concern with that. The next best thing it can do after that is, like, proliferate onto one of these sagas that I'm considering running. Or, I think the saga, like, Vorinclex as a saga is, like, one of my main ways to put counters on my creatures that aren't named Indoraptor. We do have the Sailback, but Sailback might not even make it. I guess I consider him at least. We'll see how many actual counters I wind up with, but if it's just going to be primarily the Indoraptor and a couple of cards, then I don't see Daggertooth here making it. Or 3. 4. But we'll give him a shot. Claws. 2-tap squirrels, counter a loyalty ability, exile target card from a graveyard, or gain 3 life. Think so. Similar problem with the Goblin, but even worse because I don't know. I mean, I will have the one reanimate effect at least, with the idea that Indoraptor can die while dealing a ton of damage, and then I can get him back. Or I can just get Indoraptor back on a turn where I've dealt a ton of damage other ways. Having that as an option is not terrible, but that's assuming that that even makes it into the end build of the deck. Don't need Void Mirror. Hey. Horizons 2. That brings us to Morningtide. Alright, Morningtide. What have you got for me? Enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 elf. No. The Snitch. I think I need Bitter Blossom. Boldweir and Heavyweights. About to say Intimidator, but that's the next one. Yeah, I don't think so. Borderland Behemoth, no. Colossus, probably not. Side Crusher, no. Cream of the crop. Glamour. No. Earwig Squad. No. Oh, Tree Folk from my graveyard. Probably not. Vertilid. Fester Creep. Fire Juggler. Don't think I have the archers necessary for Great Bow Doyen. If I did, that'd be neat. It doesn't even stop them. Not only does it not stop them from dealing the damage to the creature in combat, like it's not like instead you can have it assign damage to the player, but it also triggers off of them dealing damage to it from anything, so. But I don't think any of my creatures are going to wind up being archers. If there are, there's only going to be like 2 or 3 at most. And since I'm expecting 0, Murmuring Bosk, no. Mutavault. Like, I think if I actually have them, they're going to wind up being something like a Changeling or randomly also an Archer in addition to their other creature types. Boggart. 2 damage to each creature. Also, I have to I have to reveal an elemental for that, so that's probably not happening. Each other shaman I control. Deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. Yeah, I don't think so. It's the Vine Steed. It's the Exiled. Choose 2 target creatures that share no creature types. Those creatures fight each other. Nope. Escape Shift. Yeah, I stopped to look at Roar of the Crowd because I realized it wasn't what I was thinking it was. And yeah, still not. Like, we're not going to have enough dinosaurs or dragons or any other given creature type. And I think those are going to be the 2 most plentiful in my deck, so. Also, First Strike, no. Sensation Gorger. Card Volley. Shared Animosity. Animosity would be nice. If I could get all my creatures to be the same type. Large power boost when attacking, but 6 damage to any creature. Yeah, not running enough goblins for the kinship anyway. Destroy target artifact or land. No. Bandit. Slabs. Deals X damage to any target and X damage to itself, where X is the number of elemental cards in your graveyard. Don't think I need Taurine Mauler. Alright, so this is one of the ones that's kind of weird, but I think I do want it. So, Thornbite Staff gives the equipped creature functionally, what's its name? Goblin Sharpshooter, but it requires mana in addition to tapping it to deal the damage, so it's not anywhere near as good as Sharpshooter, but it works on any creature that it's equipped to. So the idea is we pay 2, we tap, we deal a point of damage to Indoraptor. It chooses a player at random. If that player sacrifices a creature to not be dealt the damage, then the Thornbite Staff will trigger and untap the creature that it's attached to. So even if the staff is on Indoraptor itself, this would still let it keep pinging itself until we run out of mana. or until somebody decides not to sacrifice a creature or can't sacrifice a creature. So I do think we want the Thornbite Staff to allow for this, but I don't think it's the best. Staff. And the actual cost for the staff is 2. This is a shaman artifact. Yeah, we passed on Mana Gorger Hydra, and I don't think I need Taurine Mauler either. As far as creatures that can grow pretty big, get in for extra damage. Don't need Vengeful Firebrand for the Grove. Bing Shaman, War Patrol, and Wolf Skull Shaman. Okay. Morning Tide. Nemesis. Don't need Ancient Hydra. Animate Land, no. Archmage, no. Car. Archer, Portal. Nope. Woodworm. Lex Automaton. Offering. Sacrifice a mountain rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Fire creature gets +X+O, where X is the number of mountains I control. Definitely want Flame Rift, because that is cheap and does a ton of damage to everybody, so. For 2 mana, that is 4 to 12 counters on Indoraptor in most games. More if there's a large table, but usually that's not the case. But yeah, if you actually are in a 5-player game and you get 16 counters, not bad. Not need the slide. Have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature instead. Yeah, I don't need any of the Lackalith creatures. Mana Cache. Massacre. Fog Alarm. Salvage. Any of these so far. Parallax cards. Plague Witch, no. Wrathy Assassin. Player loses 3 life. Not quite good enough. Rupture deals damage equal to that creature's power to each creature without flying and each player. For 3 mana. That actually has a lot of potential. Hello, Bailey. I'm sorry, I already have an artist that I do things with. I've known her for a very long time, and I like working with her. Thank you for the offer, but no thank you. Alright, so Rupture. 2 and a red. It is a sorcery, but it's okay with how we're planning on using it. It'll actually work fine. Shrieking Mud, Skyshroud Behemoth. All of these. Player chooses a card in their hand, then each player reveals the chosen card. The owner of each creature card revealed this way with the lowest mana value puts it onto the battlefield. Nope. And I don't think any of those. Alright. Nemesis. Takes us to New Phyrexia. Go ahead. Actually search for it. It's kind of the whole point. I don't need active aggression. 5 damage to any target, no. Batter Skull, no. Beast Within. I mean, they can't sacrifice the token to stop Indoraptor's ability, and it is a good catch-all for killing anything, so maybe? Don't need Birthing Pod. Bludgeoning Brawl. Search my library for a creature, reveal it, shuffle and put it on top, or put it on the bottom of the library. Nope. Age Sun. Probably not. Press no. Chancellor no. Other Chancellors. No. Dementia Bat. Member no. 1 damage to any target, has infect. Combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do, deals 3 damage to that player. Yeah, I don't see that one actually being particularly good. Loses a life, right. All of the riders are lose a life, not deals 1 damage to that player. None of them are going to be any more or less helpful than they were before. Got shot. There's a battlefield, exile target land. Whenever a land with the same name... Yeah, it's still only going to happen on our opponent's turns. Cast a creature spell, loses 2 life unless they pay 2. No. Think I need Karn. We have a pretty good removal suite to pick from for our color combination. While he's good, he's also 7 mana, and the deck is already trying to cast Indoraptor and a bunch of other spells in the same turn, so. Degenic Growth. I could use it to deal 2 extra damage, but that's not worth a card. We wouldn't have to pay mana for it, we could pay life instead. Trader's Grasp, Priest of Borabrask, Talisman. Deals damage equal that spell's mana value to any target. Yeah, still not good enough. Doldred. 3 mana to activate the shrine once it's finally ready to pop off. Yeah, don't need any of the shrines. Power and toughness equal the number of artifact cards in all graveyards. Nope. Vine Biter, no. No. Next page. War and Peace. Don't think so. Tormentor Exarch, no. Triumph, no. Orabrask, maybe. Having all of my creatures have haste and my opponents come into play tap to potentially stop them from blocking would be nice. For 4. Might not have room for them though, and I might just want the other haste granting effects more, but we'll see. Controller loses 1 life, no. Bolt charge. I think we need Vorinclex. And that's it. Okay. It's new Phyrexia. 8 watches next. We're at 47 minutes. Alright, we'll keep going then. Tap an untapped ally you control, discard a card, draw a card. Turn up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. No. It's hexproof and indestructible. Surge, deal 4 damage to a target creature. No. I think I need Flame Caller. Like, I'm looking to see if there's anything. And no, I don't think so. Target player or planeswalker. Nope. Power and Flame. No. Target opponent loses life. Nope. Creature. Trample. Land creatures you control have trample. Landfall. Make one of my lands a 3/3. Same thing, but with vigilance. Nope. Gains haste. Deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. So I have to have cast another spell already. Then cast this for its surge cost to deal damage to 2. Like, we already had things that could deal X damage to a couple different targets, and those were already kind of questionable. This one requires that I cast another spell first, or the cost is just way too high. Consider sorcery with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its cost, and then exile it. Think so. Freerunner, no. Harvester Troll. Fetus. Touch target equipment you control to Toll Collector. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, another one of the red cards that can attach them to itself, but not to, like, Indoraptor or the Altasaur, so. Does 2 damage to each creature. You cast an Eldrazi creature with mana value 7 or less, you can exile and deal 5 damage. No. Kozilek, no. Wildborn. Don't need Nisa, I don't think. Or her judgment. Yeah, I'd actually be more interested in Oath of Chandra if the follow up trigger at the end step for having Planeswalkers enter play was just its enter the battlefield, like 2 mana, deal 2 damage to each opponent, maybe? Definitely if it was a full on Pyroclasm, like 2 damage to each creature and each player. For 2 mana. Because all of them so far have been like 3+ mana for that effect, and I'd really love to get a much cheaper one. I don't think I've been. While I was thinking about that, I was scrolling a bit too quickly. Yeah, no, no. Cast your second spell each turn. Pyromancer's Assault deals 2 damage to any target. Eh. Unfortunately, it's too much mana to get it down. Because if I could cast one spell, deal a bunch of damage to everybody, and then cast the Indoraptor, deal an extra 2 damage, and get more counters on him, I'd be interested in that. And that certainly fits the play pattern I'm expecting. It's just that it's a 4 mana enchantment. So we're going to have to basically take a turn off to cast it, and then it's not going to do that much. Like, I think I'd rather just cast the burn spell and the Indoraptor at that point, unless I can actually get the assault down exactly when I need it to, and that's literally casting it like turn 3 or 4, depending on mana. I guess turn 2 with like Soul Ring or something would be ideal, but also that means I'm now cast my Soul Ring, which would be super helpful for setting up something like this. Bushwhacker, Reality Smasher, Reaver Drone. No, don't think so. It's Life Loss. Scion Summoner, no. Yeah, I went back to the Scion Summoner because it is making 1/1s because it's the um, Battle for Zendikar sets, not the Rise of the Eldrazi set. So that is making a 2/2 and a 1/1, and then the 1/1 after ideally dealing combat damage to a player with no blockers could then be used as mana to help cast the Indoraptor. You know, if I cast another spell in the same turn. Eh, it's okay. It's not amazing. Five damage to target creature with flying. Nope. Surge 5, and if its surge cost was paid, 3 damage to any target. Envoy, Vile Redeemer. Exile a target creature with power or toughness 1 or less. Counter target sorcery spell or create a 1/1 colorless scion. I don't know how many colorless, like actual colorless sources I would have for Warping Whale. I do like the thought of countering Farewell, though, or similar effects. Mostly Farewell, but, you know, same thing if I'm about to lose all my creatures to a Wrath instead. Don't think I need Zendikar Resurgent. Nope, okay. So back we go. Alright, we're right around the hour mark, so I think I will call it there. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.